EA's approach to FIFA 21 has been heavy on dual entitlement pomp. Buy this year's game on PS4 or Xbox One, they say, and you'll get to play a souped-up edition on next-generation hardware soon. Admittedly, it's a dangling carrot some gamers just won't be able to resist. But current-gen versions still need to be solid, right? Last year, FIFA 20 launched with some glaring bugs. Such moments are PR nightmares in the age of rampant social media use. EA did not want another disaster quite like that, so they made sure to take extra care over 21 pre-release. Spend even a few hours testing out all the various modes, and that attention to detail definitely shows. It might not be popular to say when these titles are, without question, just meager annual updates, but FIFA 21 is actually a pretty enjoyable football game at heart. Tinkering with some core gameplay elements has definitely livened up attacking, and minor changes to career mode shows that that's finally heading in the right direction after years of being pushed aside for foot. Of course, in typical EA fashion though, there's a negative around every corner too. I'm Gareth from WhatCulture.com, and here are the ups and downs for FIFA 21. Volta. The old FIFA Street crowd noted that last year's Volta debut wasn't nearly different enough to the standard 11v11 matches elsewhere. The 3v3, 4v4 or 5v5 format and funky backdrops, whilst certainly appealing visually, kind of break down when you're actually playing. And that's a problem. Volta either needs to become speedier and even more arcade-like, or at least dress itself up as some skill-based sprint that relies on trickery. Right now, it's neither. In fact, it plays out like a less fun version of the main game and feels largely untouched from last year. The short but sweet story mode does offer up some neat surprises when it comes to iconic players from the past, but it's over in a flash. You'll likely just fiddle around with this for a few hours and then get really bored, so down. The pace. EA decided to make attacking less about pure pace and more about guile in FIFA 21. That comes at a slight cost because it means you can't just bulldoze your way through a defensive back four every single time. Though that can still work, just not 10 times out of 10. Being honest though, the new pace just helps the game flow tremendously. EA's product has always been more arcade-like than Konami's PES, and that gives games a sort of end-to-end, almost ice hockey-ish feeling. Seriously, some matches just play out like you're watching the NHL. This can, of course, be modified in the menus, but it's oddly engaging, if a little bit bothersome to those who love a clean sheet. Gameplay is zippy enough without taking away weight when tackling. EA has struck a very, very nice balance here indeed. Up. Goalkeepers. Anybody who watches top-level Premier League football could tell you that goalkeeper is often a troubling position for managers. They just can't legislate for mistakes that cost valuable points. But that's part of the sport's beauty. That being said, FIFA 21 has some of the worst goalies ever. They always want to punch or just slap the ball away rather than catching it. And that is true even when they're under zero pressure from attackers. Honestly, it's annoying as hell to watch a world-class keeper like Alisson just refuse to hold the ball or see him just completely miss a punch. I mean, you are world-class, you are Alisson, you won the Premier League, you won the Champions League, it's stressful. This is something EA just need to patch out, and soon. Even the best in the game often act like they're some Division 3 nobody who's way out of their depth and has hands like sieves. Down. Heading. Try to head the ball in FIFA 20 and you'd probably take out some poor bugger's Bovril in row H behind the goal. Lord only knows how many neck bridges those players were doing, but they had the ability to head the ball harder than they could strike it. Or they'd just weakly glance it into a keeper's arms like they had the strength of a toddler. But saying that, I've got a young niece who can head the ball a lot better than that. The good news, FIFA 21 has fixed its heading hell. Crossing is finally a dangerous weapon when hitting teams on the break again. In fact, it's maybe a little too overpowered for now and results in a stunning goal a little bit too often. But that's enough of me moaning though, because it is definitely an improvement. Headed goals can be some of the most rewarding in real life football, so it's just sweet to see the EA have brought that glory back into the FIFA fold. Up. You still can't play as real managers. There are definitely career mode improvements this year, but those hoping to live vicariously through the eyes of Jurgen Klopp or Sean Dyche will be disappointed to learn that they can't. FIFA 21 still doesn't include the option to play as actual real-world managers, and to be honest, that just feels like a really big missed opportunity. True-to-life managers have been in FIFA for years now, but that immersion seems a bit broken when they're not playable and never move clubs independently. Of course, licensing is a bit of a stickler here. Liverpool probably don't want to see Klopp manage Man United, for example. Understandable? Yeah. Irritating? You're damn right. This is 2020 and gamers should be able to customize the FIFA universe to their own liking, or at least step into the shoes of their favourite coaches. And if it wasn't clear already, this is getting a down. The licensing battle with Konami. The glorious San Siro looks absolutely incredible in FIFA 21. Pick either Milanese giants, pursue trophies in career mode with them, and you'll probably find a lot to like. Then you'll come up against Piemonte Calciao CCR7 in a fake strip and just roll your eyes. Like it or not, EA's series has always relied a lot on licenses to mask flaws elsewhere. This year though, like last, the licenses they don't have stand out and cause FIFA's once mighty grip on real-life football to wobble a bit. Make no mistake about it, the only ones losing out during this never-ending battle between EA and Konami are gamers themselves. Juventus are just simply too big a club to be missing from a game of this magnitude, and it sucks. No amount of carefully crafted generic kits, badges, and stadia can avoid the truth. EA need to get Juve back in the game somehow and do it fast. Down. Collisions look more natural. It's definitely uncommon for FIFA to launch without some game-breaking glitches or hilarious collisions between players on the pitch that end in a tangled pile of limbs. FIFA 21, though, actually seems to have less wonky robots flailing around, which is definitely nice. Collisions now look way more natural than ever before. It was touched upon in a previous entry, but there's more weight to the player models this year. That makes slide tackling a thing of pure joy. The fact the ball doesn't then laser guide itself back into danger like before is also pretty good. Now you can smash into players without even taking out your own teammates. It's just good stuff. Of course, it might still result in fouls, but it's positively delightful to target opponents directly and know you won't clip straight through them, which was definitely an issue before. Tackle and jostle freely, people. Up. FIFA Ultimate Team. If you're anything like this guy, then you've long since tired of Ultimate Team's dizzying mix of microtransactions and grinding. A mode that once seemed like a nice compliment to others has become EA's focal point. There's one reason and one reason only for this. Money. EA are a business, sure, but there's something just so hollow about FUT. It's a titan that's been not so gently strangling the franchise for years now, and that won't change while it still rakes in mountains of coin. At this point, it'd probably be a blessing if EA just released its own FIFA Ultimate Team 21 game as its own little thing and dumped other modes in a separate, budget-priced release. 21's mode is much the same as before as well. You either pay real money for card packs to unlock the best players, or you just slug it out through endless matches in the hope of maybe, just maybe, snagging someone good for a few games. As it's probably going to be for the next 20, 30, 40 years, it's an automatic down every time. Customizing your FUT stadium. It's not all doom and gloom and microtransactions in FUT, you'll be pleased to hear. The ability to customize your own stadium for use in the mode is an idea that definitely has legs, and it'd be great to see EA bring this into other modes eventually. Career mode. Career mode, do it now. For now though, being able to decide how your home game should look is a hidden thrill. It nearly makes Ultimate Team worth exploring for those who traditionally hate it. And that's something EA should definitely be proud of. One can spend serious time mucking around with the available options and upgrades. If EA enhance this, then they'll definitely be onto something special. Putting statues at pitch side, altering how the crowd reacts, splashing colour all around the place, and even deciding which banners your fans hold up can be an absolute gas. It's the kind of customation FIFA definitely needs more of, and that's why for now it's getting an up. Retraining positions. One of the better changes EA has made to career mode is the ability to retrain a player's position. Basically, if you think that James Milner should just drop back from midfield into defense as a centre-back, then have at it. Be warned though, because this is not a foolproof feature. It can go disastrously wrong and actually worsen a player's overall rating. That's a good thing though. It means there's a risk and reward tension. You could, in theory, destroy a player's career by trying to make them something they're not. Try to turn Messi into a wingback, for example, and you'll probably be hearing from his legal team. Probably. Maybe not. The thing is, it should be this risky. You'll have to keep an eye on a player's attributes before deciding where best to deploy them on the pitch. On the plus side, it's possible to exponentially improve a youngster by retraining them. Up. It's pretty much a standard annual update. FIFA 21 doesn't do much to reinvent or rethink EA standards. There's no avoiding the truth that it's a standard, annually released sports game. There are new strips, transfers, gameplay tweaks, and career mode enhancements, but this is hardly a million miles away from the product EA shipped out just 12 months ago. It's probably good to know that going in. Do not fool yourself into thinking the PS5/Xbox Series X dual entitlement stuff means they've changed everything. If anything, EA will likely just wait to use some fresh bells and whistles on the next generation versions. FIFA 21 on PS4 and Xbox One, though, is a very much modded reissue of FIFA 20. 99.9% of FIFA players knew that'd be the case anyway, to be fair. Some just don't have a problem with that because they love the updated squads, kits, etc., and they're fine with a handful of small changes. Even so, EA will definitely have to offer a little bit more next year. Down. And finally, interactive match sim. Start celebrating, folks. Simmed matches in career mode are no longer dicey affairs that often result in away draws or losses just because you're not the home team. FIFA 21's interactive match sim option means you can finally take immediate control of the game at any point. Losing 2-0 after 30 minutes and want to put things right? You do it. Locked at 1-1 after 85 minutes but want to bring on your new striker for a morale-boosting winner? It's your right. This is not exactly anything new to sports games, but it is so fresh in FIFA. That alone is enough to make it the best addition to EA series in quite some time. Up. So those were our ups and downs for FIFA 21. Do you agree? Let us know your thoughts and feelings on the latest addition in the series in the comment section below. And do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and click on some more awesome articles just like the one this video is based on. I've been Gareth from whatculture.com. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.